Hey guys, if you like this content, I would greatly appreciate it if you guys like the video and subscribed to my channel. It helps make these videos worth it going forward. What's up guys, Altcoins here with a crypto market review. As always, this is not financial advice. I'm not an expert to do own research. Okay, so I'm just going to do a quick altcoin review here. I got some requests on Twitter. I'll briefly go into ETH, and I'm going to skip Bitcoin just because I do Bitcoin every day. But for ETH had a very nice run. Obviously, it doubled in the time span of like a month or so. Went from $1,000 to $2,000, and then now it's pulling back. Now, what are we looking at here? This is an area of support. It's the 618 fib, around $1,400. And if you want a long-term sustainable move for ETH, you don't want it to necessarily just bounce right here. You want it to chop around, form a sustainable bottom, and then you start to move up again. If you start to see it coming up really quickly, then I think a double top or lower, or just it hitting the 236 fib, is a much higher likelihood in that situation. So, you know, you'll hit a double top in this case, or you will just like hit a lower high and it'll start coming down. Neither of those is good if you really want continuation. If you want continuation, then I think you need to see something similar to what I said, just some overall choppy price action for like a week or something, and then it looks like a higher low. And at that point, it still will hit like a double top in the sense that this will be resistance, this $2,000 area, but then you have a higher likelihood of it continuing up if it forms a legit bottom that takes a long time to form. If it just starts to do really well now, then I'm not so sure. Let's look at Matic really quick. Okay, Matic. And it's also important to note, I'll say this early on, that nearly all altcoins had this type of structure where you see like all of it dying long term, and then now we're seeing this like lower high that's coming, and now it's pulling back. It's really important to note the context that this is still a bearish market structure, still lower highs, lower lows, and these moves overall have probably just been bearish retests. So what do I mean by that? I mean that coins or stocks or whatever asset, it doesn't just all go like from 100 to 0 in one go. It is usually a sustained move down where like you see lower highs, lower lows, and then you see like something like this. And what I'm trying to say is this recent move up, although it was really good, this 32 cents, this tripled in price, 32 to $1, it's still a lower high. So, you know, this area, it's pretty clear to me as well when you look at this chart that that you see like clear SR levels. So this is just an SR level here, support, 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 all throughout this time, other than this deviation back in July of 2021. And now it's acting as resistance, right? So first tap here, it's all resistance. So to me, this just looks like a lower high personally. And, you know, what I mean by lower high too is just like, you know, things dying. And then you see this like move up. It looks like it's good, but then it's ultimately just a lower high. And further continuation downward is coming. And many altcoins have this type of price action right here where it does look like it's, you know, sustained selling followed by this kind of weird accumulation thing that happened all throughout May and June, and then a move up in July to August. And at this point, it's really hard to discern what the overall lower time frame trend is, but from higher time frames, it still looks bearish to me. Now, what would change that? What would change that is seeing something like a double bottom or a long accumulation type of price action. So what do I mean by double bottom? It's exactly what it sounds like. You have this bottom formed here, and then price will make this kind of lower high, and then it will revisit some of the lows again. So if we see something like this where, you know, price does something like this, at this point you could maybe consider this 30 cents area the kind of macro bottom, in the sense that it's just going to be like this lower bottom. I'm sorry, double bottom. type of price action. And this is much more sustainable than what we're currently seeing here. You don't really generally see prices just reverse like this. It takes a long time to heal from all this big downtrend. It takes a long accumulation period, generally speaking. And accumulation and also bottoms form in a lot of different ways. As I said, double bottom is one. Sometimes you see like this Adam Eve type of thing where it goes like this. Sometimes you see like an Eve Adam. Sometimes you see this double bottom. Sometimes you see just like a long accumulation type of bottom like you saw in Bitcoin 2018 going into 2019. There are a lot of different types of bottom structures that form, and it just depends on the overall context, and it depends on a lot of different factors. So what I'm trying to say is that although we had this nice move up, the overall trend is still bearish, and I think you're almost certainly going to get lower prices than current even right now. Even if this is the overall macro bottom, I still suspect that we're at least going to get 60 cents at a minimum, and potentially even lower. I'm personally expecting even lower prices for many of these altcoins. I think it's just likely. Now, where I'm invalidated is if price does kind of maintain this like semi-bullish structure on lower time frames, where this is just like a higher low here, and compared to some of these other lows that were formed. Price chops around and then it breaks the recent high strongly. At this point, then I will probably be wrong on my idea from going lower, and price will just start trading higher. At this point, up to like the 140 or so area. Now, as I said, this is more just describing overall altcoin context, overall altcoin market. And let's just look at Matic here. Matic, as I said, still a bearish market structure, still not something that you really think is going to be a total reversal overall, at least not for me personally. What it looks like to me is just bearish market structure with a lower high compared to some of these other highs that were formed, and price will probably just trade lower eventually. Now, that's not to say that there aren't going to be good trading opportunities. I mean, the trading opportunity from 30 cents to $1 was a great one, right? These bear market rallies will have great opportunities where you can even just hop on later, right? You don't have to necessarily hop on like right at the start. You don't have to get in at 33 cents. You can get in at 50 cents and still ride this up to a 2x to $1. It just depends on the overall context and the overall trade, but there are still going to be good opportunities in the bear market. So right now, as I said, Matic looks like it's formed some sort of lower term floor right now. This looks like a decent low actually that's forming. Now it's also important to note that every single altcoin is going to really depend on Bitcoin and ETH. If ETH and Bitcoin take another leg down, then these are certainly going to make another leg down as well. This will go break down if ETH and Bitcoin break down as well. Personally, I'm still of the opinion that Bitcoin goes to 19K, so it would make more sense that this Matic move would go something to like 72 cents or something. This to me looks like a more interesting area of support versus the current level. The current level, it's kind of a weird area that I can't really tell, what's like what what this is really bouncing off of. Kind of this kind of support area that we saw back all the way in July is holding as a solid floor for now, but don't really know excuse me, don't really know if this is going to hold. But Matic certainly looks better than a lot of other altcoins. Still think it's still just bearish though. Phantom FTM, this still looks like overall kind of this almost I don't want to say accumulation, but it does look a little bit like accumulation. Price is chopped around for many months here, all the way since May. And although it had a really nice move all the way from 19 cents all the way up to this 43 cent area, it does look like the range lows are coming again. And the range lows around 19 cents. There is like this floor around 24 cents that looks like it probably will be the next level up. But, I'm not really exactly sure if that's going to hold. 19 cents might be a better buy if you are looking for this for the long term. But it's also important to note that this is still just a very bearish market structure. And if you really want to just grab it lower, then it's certainly, Like if this current area, this 19, 18 cent area goes, then this like 5 cent area is probably next in my opinion. And look, that seems kind of really bleak, but that's kind of like what I would view. Adam, so I drew this yesterday. This as I said, like reversals come in a lot of different ways. I don't know what this is going to look like, but this, in my opinion, is not a sustainable type of bottom. This is like kind of a V-shaped reversal, and V-shaped reversals generally don't happen as much in altcoins, unless you're talking about alt BTC pairs, in which they do. But alt USD pairs usually have some sort of different structures for bottom. It would make more sense if this was like an Adam Eve type of structure, where you see something like kind of like this V shape, and then it'll come back down, like have a nice long rounded bottom, and then reverse. But if it happens, it's going to take a while. Like this is going to it's going to take a long time, basically, is what I'm trying to say. I drew this kind of weird cup and handle thing too, but again, I don't know how this is going to reverse. I just think that this is still going lower. It doesn't really look great, to be honest. I don't think this is like an altcoin you should long. I really don't think that these are really coins that you should look at personally. There are only a few coins that are really taking a lot of liquidity out of the market, and this is not one of them, in my opinion. Let's look at Near. Similar to the other altcoins, it has this kind of rounded bottom type of price action that looks pretty decent, but again, I think it's not. I don't think it's very sustainable. I think it's much more likely that price kind of does this double bottom. So maybe we hit like this. It'll just like chop around. Maybe it'll revisit the lows again at $3, and then like chop around for several weeks, and then grind back up. And maybe this is a double bottom. Maybe this is the bottom. But as of right now, again, similar to the other coins, I think it's likely that this just goes lower. If this does go lower and this kind of $3 floor falls out, then I would suspect this 275 all the way down to 175 area would be like the next areas up. And I do believe that, these are some areas of interest if Bitcoin does in fact have another leg down, which a lot of people actually think is going to happen. Personally, I am of that opinion. I think that Bitcoin is going to revisit the 17, 18K area once again. I just don't know what or when it's going to look like. And I wouldn't be surprised if that happens, then other altcoins are just going to get demolished. You're going to see something like 250 or something for Near. Definitely not buying for the short term, and even for the long term. And even if you want to look for this on the shorter time frames, I still don't really see much of a trade opportunity personally. This area is an interesting area of support, and it price did bounce. So, it certainly could kind of hit short-term lower high. So maybe it grinds up to something like 440, but like it doesn't really look super convincing to me personally. I would not take a trade in this personally. I think there's better opportunities. Solana, this one kind of died. I think the range lows are coming personally. Lots of interaction with some of these levels on the EQ. Like $50 was at the top of this range. Interacts a lot with the $36 area, the EQ of the range, and now I believe that the lows are going to come. There are going to be some areas of support that come before then, like the 28 area. This current area here too is a little bit. This is support as well. It's kind of like an SR flip that's going to happen. It's happening right now, where you see price bouncing off this in early July and mid-July, this $32 area. Price fell below it, and now it cannot hold above it. So if you see a daily close above this current level, then maybe we see something like 37. But until that time, not really a huge fan of this price action overall. And I do think the lows will eventually come around 26. AVAX has a lot of FUD going on right now with regards to some of their lawsuit litigation stuff. Not really following it super closely, but I can't tell if it's FUD or if it's like actually legit. Either way, AVAX is going back to the lows, in my opinion, right around $15, $16. It's got similar price action, similar to what I was describing to, kind of this double bottom type of formation, where I believe that at a minimum, price is going to trade like this. And quite possibly, as with many other altcoins, maybe it trades at the bottom and then just goes even lower. And if the floor falls out, then I think something like $9 is like next up. It just makes sense for it to kind of go to that $9 area. And obviously, if 9 falls, then like $5 is next. Price can still keep going like negative 50%, in the bear market. ApeCoin, this one is looking pretty ugly overall. These are some old charts I have. I was in this one and it made me money, but then I exited close to the top relatively. I flipped it to SHIB, in which I made good money, but I was greedy as fuck and didn't sell all my position like I should have, and now I round trip the rest. So such is life. I got greedy in a bad environment, and now I'm getting punished for it. So this is ApeCoin. Ape hit a lower high overall. You can see here it just was a lower high relative to some of this other price action. I actually thought it'd be a little bit stronger. I thought it'd have the juice to go all the way to near 10, but it was not strong enough clearly, and now some of these other levels are currently here. So what are some interesting levels? This kind of SR level right around 450 or so. 420 is the next level up in my opinion, but the more important level would be kind of this $3 area. This is an area that I think is more important to see and view, and I think this is like probably a more important, interesting level than what we're currently seeing. So yeah, I would consider buying this at 2 or maybe swinging below. And if Bitcoin and Ethereum dive, then this will also hit. Krabadabba, this coin died, if I recall correctly, went from like $1 to now it's penny. So everything pretty much went to 0. Can't really say anything about this price action. I don't even know what to say about this. I know this is mostly traded on Trader Joe, but it looks fucking terrible. This is a good example of like coins that are never going to come back probably. Going from $1 to a penny, that's like it's just utter destruction. And it's reminiscent of like the 2018 bear market. And this project was actually quite good, I remember before. And now it's just like, it's just worth nothing. So shitty situation for all these Krabadabba holders. Again, if you do believe in this project, maybe it's fine. Just like send some money into it. Throw a few bucks into it, because you can hit 100x. It goes from a penny to $1, right? So maybe you get lucky. I don't know. Maybe you throw $500 into it and just hope for the best. But if it somehow regains some of its previous glory, then obviously it's a super banger trade. But until that time, I mean, it just looks pretty damn fucking terrible. It looks like the lows are coming again. EGLD, I remember trading this one back in 2021. I liked it quite a bit. Now it is down in the dumps, as with everything else. If you look at this current price action, it's similar to the other coins too, where price kind of had this deviation above these highs, and now currently trading below. Looks like there's some support right around $50, $49 or so that price bounced off of. But to me, the more important areas would be something like the lower 40s. This seems more likely, in my opinion, for price to actually go to eventually. But similar to the other coins, just like a bear market rally. GALA, not much to say about this one. Looks like shit. Current wick is providing some support here around 5 cents, but there will inevitably be a lot of liquidity below. But this type of coin, I don't think you should hold something like this. It just looks bad. Too many VCs, too shitty of tokenomics, in my opinion. It looks like this floor is holding for now, so it could be decent for a scalp. There are all sorts of scalp trading opportunities as well for you guys. You just have to find what style works for you. Scalping is much more of a personal type of trading plan versus swing trading or long-term investing. Looks like it should bounce in the short term, but again, I think that it's more likely that 044 gets tapped. XCH, don't know what this coin is. Looks terrible. Just another bear market rally, in my opinion. Lower high. Now it looks like it's going to go back to the lows around $27. Nothing to say about this. HAPI, don't know what this is either. Looks, again, similar to the other ones, just pretty bad. Maybe we see like another move down to the $6 area eventually. Nothing good about this chart. Dogecoin looks, again, like, I think it's interesting that Dogecoin did have that move, but it's also interesting to note that Dogecoin didn't even lead the meme coin market. SHIB did. So Shiba will be the ones that's like the first mover in these situations. It is good to buy the laggard, and there's a lot of opportunities to trade these types of trades, i.e. if SHIB moons really hard and Doge is not doing anything, you can happily just long Dogecoin and then just assume that it's going to follow. But the problem with buying the laggards is it's never going to be like as strong as like the leader. So SHIB will lead, and SHIB will also usually have the higher upside too. But there's still good trading opportunities, as I said, for situations like this. Doesn't really look great. Looks like the bottom of the range is coming 06, 07, or 057 or something like that, 058, and possibly even break below around the 052 area. ZCX Unizen, this coin has just prolonged downtrend overall. Just strong, steady selling. I don't really see any quite reversals yet, in my opinion. Similar to the other coins, you would really need something to like have this like form some sort of like either like a double bottom or just like a long-term accumulation pattern where it just like chops around for a while. You don't really like seeing this constant sell pressure. CHZ, this coin did really well the last few weeks. It really outperformed a lot of other coins. But for now, I think that it's a coin that probably can be shorted. I do think that it will provide a bounce around the 18 cents area, but I expect that we're going to see more grinding down until we hit that area, and then we might see a more sustainable move after some consolidation, and then more downtrend. Again, it's going to really depend on the overall market, but if you want to compare that to something like Lido or OP Optimism, then I think that it's going to look similar to that, where it had this really strong run and then everything is just going to die. So that's kind of my overall opinion on the altcoin market. I prefaced a lot of it through the Matic chart. Hopefully, guys, it made sense, and I might do another video on some bottom formations again, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for the support.